So I've been on another little whirlwind tour, and I'm back. I'm glad to be here. I was away in Mexico last week, and the topic that occurs to me really comes out of that trip, and it's about success. How many here have a real sense that that success is an important element? Being successful in your life is an important element of who you are. Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Not everybody raised their hand, and that's all right. Success is really more of a Western concept. The Eastern philosophies don't really resonate with this idea of being successful. And in the Western culture, it's something that is revered and yet at the same time seen as not being something that can be abused, let's put it that way. So, you kind of need to find your way with it. If you want success in your life, it's really important not only to define what that means, because all of us would have our way of describing and defining the idea of success, but also what formula do we want to use to create that in our life? What is our recipe? What is our methodology for creating the success that we seek to achieve in our lives? How does all that work? How does it fit together? So I put together a little formula, and I didn't have to go too far from here to do it. I have things all over my office that speak of success. And all I had to do was kind of wander around there, and it all sort of fell into place for me. So I have some ideas that I want to share with you. I have a list. John's back.
You have a list.
But these are things that I think resonate with the idea, and they all make a good point for me, so let's see what they do for you. The first point in that formula of success is to maintain constancy of purpose. The term constancy of purpose is not mine. It actually comes from the UK Prime Minister named Benjamin Disraeli. And his phrase around that was, the secret of success is constancy of purpose. Meaning that if you are consistently and constantly pursuing the thing that is yours to do, your purpose, then you cannot fail. That's the secret. Just do that. And of course, as Rumi said, we all have a purpose. Yet we can do 1,000 other good things and not achieve what we came to do, and find ourselves in a state of failure. Hard to believe, but we actually have a reason to be here. Now, how we articulate that is different between all of us, and we find the words or the way to resonate with that. Some of it's probably just a feeling. Some of us, it's a very clear worded intention that we can speak. Doesn't matter. There's not a right or wrong way to do it, but we are all here to fulfill a specific purpose. There's no exception to that. That's true for all of us. So if we are constantly aware of what that is or how we perceive that, and we are continuously pursuing it, then we are being successful. Success is not a destination. It's a pathway. So as we do our work, as we wake up in the morning and choose what we do in our lives, what we are going to do on that day in alignment with our purpose, we are being successful. Even if no one around us can see it. Doesn't really matter. Success, that's one of I think the things that people are confused about success is not really about what other people see or think about you. It's about how you see yourself. This idea of success has to do with fulfilling that purpose in life, that thing that calls us to get up in the morning and be happy about who we are and what we're doing. That's the constancy we're looking for every day without exception. And when we do, our lives tend to really work. So thank you, Benjamin Disraeli, for a great idea. The second idea is to have a clear vision of where you're going. A clear vision. The Disraeli quote is on my wall in my office. I've got it framed. And I've got this one framed too. Not those particular words. The words that are up in my office come from Jonathan Swift, the guy that wrote Gulliver's Travels. Remember him? He wrote, "Vision is the art of seeing things invisible." Vision is the art of seeing things invisible, which means that if we have a clear vision, it doesn't matter who else can see it. It matters that we can see it. It matters that we can know the thing that directs our lives, the thing that propels us forward. Michael Beckwith is the one I heard first say, we are either pushed by pain or pulled by a vision. Anybody want to be pushed by pain? We all have been. We've all been there. That's not news to anybody. We've all been in pain and resisted it and fought it and been pushed by it to do and be certain things in our lives. But that only carries us so far. When we are pulled by a vision, when we can see who we are and live in that vision, our lives look different. Our lives feel different. We are moving in a direction that serves us because we are in alignment with our purpose. Our purpose and our vision have to align. They are inseparable. And our vision is for the life that we choose to live. Regardless of circumstances, regardless of what else is going on in the world, the idea of vision is essential, that we have this idea of what our life is to look like. And a little tension between how we are choosing our life to be and how it is right now does not hurt us. This journey that Sabrina's been on is not a bad journey. And the fact that she's been beckoned to the desert is a wonderful thing. She's not there yet, but she's living in her vision right now. I know that she is, and it's working for her. See, we all want to always remember to allow our lives to be pulled by that vision. And let that vision be clear. Don't play in the idea of uncertainty around it. Create a vision. Your vision can change. You're not bound to it. It's not like, oh, that's not really what I wanted. Well, then change it. It's okay. Change the vision. Make it look more every day like you want it to look. Let it get a little clearer every day. Whatever it is that's calling you into life, let it work on you. Let it pull you. Let it be your friend. Let it beckon you forward into who you are in the fullest sense of that possibility. Our next one is foster a winning attitude. Now, winning kind of goes with the success idea. And winning is part of our culture. Please understand, it is part of our culture. After the election that's happening in a few weeks, there's going to be people that were running for Congress, that were running for other offices, that are running for president, who may or may not need Secret Service or any kind of support after that. They may be able to go into a 7-Eleven at any moment and nobody's going to bother them because they didn't win the election. Winning we hold as this highly revered thing, but we do. So why not win? Now, we don't have to run for office. Thank God. Yeah, I know. Well, maybe some of us do. All right. But the point is that success is really our own standard. It's our own way of being in the world, and winning at success is a day-to-day proposition. It's where we are and what we're doing in our lives this day that creates a sense of winning. I recently heard something that I'm told, I haven't heard this in an AA meeting, but I haven't been to many AA meetings. I've heard that there's a phrase, say, stick with the winners. Anybody ever heard? No, you don't have to tell me. Anonymous. Stick with the winners. And I know that in that context, what it means is somebody who has sobriety, stick with them. Stay with them. You know, that's the person that can help you with your sobriety. And that's true in life, is that the ones of us that have achieved something can help the ones that are seeking to achieve something. We're not in this separately. None of us get to where we're going by ourselves. We have to do the work for ourselves, but we have people around us that support us, and of course some that don't. And I'll bet you in your life, if you reviewed every relationship you have some people around you that are natural winners. And you have some people around you, maybe not so much. Put your attention and energy in those that are winners. And in yourself to be a winner. Claim and choose to be a winner. Foster that winning attitude inside of yourself in everything that you do. Here's the other quote that's up on my wall. Nothing great was ever achieved without enthusiasm. The word enthusiasm means in God. In God. So if we are living our lives with enthusiasm in God, then we are finding success because we have a winning attitude. I believe that enthusiasm and a winning attitude go hand in hand. They're the same thing in my book, in my dictionary. So what I say is that as we move forward in our lives and have a winning attitude, it doesn't matter what it looks like today. It can look like a mess. That's okay. If you have a clear intention as to what your purpose is and you are pursuing that and that you are with your vision creating something different, that mess will dissipate. It will go away and something beautiful and wonderful will take its place. It happens all the time. We cannot get caught up. This is so science of mind. We cannot get caught up in what it looks like today. We can only pursue the thing that we seek to achieve, the thing that we seek to create in our lives. When we do, it has to show up. Without exception, it has to show up. It may not look exactly like we thought it would look, but it will be better than the mess we're in today. So we pursue that. We do not condemn the mess. The mess is the pathway to that place and that thing that we desire. So we let it be the way it is, and we move forward into something greater and wonderful. That's what does it for us. So when we are challenged by life, when there is a physical condition or a relational circumstance or anything else that you want to put a label on that isn't the way you'd like it to be, you do not give that your power. You give your power to the vision for the life that you're creating for yourself. You do not abandon that. Even when things are hard, even when things are confusing, even when you think you don't know, because you do know. You do know at the depths of your being exactly who you are and what you're achieving to do and how important that is. It's as though some angel is whispering in your ear, you've got to keep going. Listen to that voice. Listen to that idea. It's worth getting up in the morning and pursuing it, no matter what it looked like the day before. So we've got purpose, we've got vision, we've got a winning attitude. The next one I came up with is don't take life too seriously. Oh my goodness, take life too seriously. All is lost. Everything's falling apart. Nothing's working. Oh, and I've done it. Oh, buddy. As soon as I do, I stub my toe or I bump my knee and you know, because our attitude and the way we pursue life begets itself. If you start on that path, you'll just get a whole lot more. And thankfully, I am so evolved that those things happen so quickly that I remember right away, this is not where I want to go. And so I do a little pivot and start over. Because that just doesn't work. How many times has Barbara looked at me and thought, oh, he's going to explode. And then I think, no, I'm fine. Because I know where that's going to lead. It's not pretty. I don't want to go there. I want what I want. And that's not the pathway. So get back on course and remember who I am and move along that path. Because that's where I want to be. Don't buy into anything that looks like failure. Don't buy into anything that looks like it's not working. Buy into the truth of who you are. And when you do, life gives you that. Seriously. I do have one more quote. But this one's not in my office. It's right outside my office, and the doors are coming into my office. It's a quote by Oscar Wilde. And it goes, life is too important to be taken seriously. Life is too important to be taken seriously. And Oscar Wilde wrote that after spending 2 years in prison at hard labor for being what the English called gross indecency. He was gay. And he was put in prison for being gay. In the 1880s, I'll tell you, but still. Thank God we've moved beyond that. But even with that kind of an experience, he said life is too important to be taken seriously. And he kept that lightness to everything he did. So I invite you today, in the midst of creating this wonderful life and being successful, that you keep it light. And that you keep your light on. So that everyone can see it and know it within you, regardless of what. I was in a challenging situation with a colleague a few weeks ago where his voice was being raised and he was very determined to make his point. And I'm smiling at him. It finally drove him crazy enough that he said, why are you smiling? And I said, because I love you. Oh. You know, and he just melted into that. And it's exactly where I was. I wasn't faking it. It was really what I was feeling. Because that's what I know of this one and who he is. And that really takes me to the next one, number 5, which is most of all love. No matter what you're doing in life, no matter what's going on, it's really important to stay in that space of love. It's really important. And who should you love? Well, love yourself. Somehow Jesus assumed that we did love ourselves. I'm not quite as convinced as he was when he said love yourself. Love your neighbor as yourself. I'm not all that convinced that always works. But love yourself. Love your neighbor. Love your job. Love your home. Love your car. Love your neighbor's dog. Love your mornings. Love the weather. Love the food you eat. Love your relatives, even the mean, nasty ones. Love everyone and everything. And nothing about them can ever hurt you. Because love is impenetrable. When you love, and I'm not saying you got to hang with them. I'm saying you got to love them. So if you have someone in your life that you're angry with, or disappointed with, or hurt with, love them. I went through one of those recently where I was upset with someone. And it's because he was avoiding me. There was something going on in his life and he wanted to avoid me. He didn't want to have to deal with it. I got upset with him. And I was telling Barbara about it, and then I realized that's not helping. He's finding his way. Just because he can't come to me and just bare his soul doesn't mean that I can't love him. So I'm going to love him wherever he is. Let that be okay. There's nobody in this life that doesn't deserve love. No matter how mean or nasty you think they've been. Love them. Just love them. And again, you don't have to stick around them. I'm not telling you you gotta move in with them. I'm not saying that. But loving them clears up your consciousness to see the presence of God even within them. And if you can do it with them, you can do it with anyone, including yourself. It is a full circle type of thing. Yeah. Most of all, love. And then the last one that I came up with is do what it takes. Do whatever it takes. Now this idea of doing whatever it takes does not mean lying or cheating or deceiving or creating things that make things a lot harder for other people. It means if you are doing 1 through 5, then you know whatever it takes is something that's going to be helpful and beneficial to everyone. If it takes working a long day, do it. If it takes going the extra mile, do it. If it takes being clear even when you'd like to be in judgment and blaming somebody for something, then do that too. Whatever it takes for you to have the life that you choose, you're going to do whatever it takes. So I want to tell you a story about somebody. Somebody that, or actually a couple of people who I think are doing all of this stuff. Their names are Reverends Alida Rodriguez and Jose Sosa, both ministers. They're the founders of the Institute of Ernest Holmes in Monterrey, Mexico. They've been in ministry over 20 years. It was not an easy task. You're going to see a bunch of pictures of them. Those are the two on the left there. About 25 years ago, they were government bureaucrats in Mexico. They had a good life. No problem. They made lots of money. They were going to get a good retirement. Everything was working. And they learned about the science of mind. And everything changed. But there were no teachers of the science of mind anywhere near where they lived. So they pursued teachers elsewhere and ended up going to Pasadena, California, and finding a man named Jack Deaton. Reverend Jack was the minister in Pasadena. His wife, Dr. Ruth Deaton, was working in the offices of United Church of Religious Science in Los Angeles. And so they went to Pasadena and worked with worked with Jack Deaton for, I don't know how long, quite a while. And they worked a deal. They were in classes with Jack 5 days a week. Yeah, because they really wanted to get this. And at some point early in this process, the Deatons moved from California to Florida. They became the ministers of the Miami church where Barbara and I had been. And at that time, the Sosas went back to Monterrey, Mexico. They sold everything they had. They even sold Alida's shoes. And Alida loves her shoes. They sold everything. And they moved to Miami so that they could become practitioners. Well, they not only became practitioners, they became ministers. And they started their center in Monterrey. And what you're seeing are all the classes that they, not all of them, but many of the classes that they have taught. These are their students again and again and again. They've done all these things that I've shared with you this morning. And I want to tell you some about some of the things that have happened in their experience. They got into ministry, they're starting to teach, but there is not any really good curriculum in Spanish. So they've got to create curriculum. So what do? They write their curriculum, they teach their classes, and they end up writing 10 books. 10 books. I've written 1 book. I can't even imagine writing 10, but they've written 10 books. 2 of them reached the #1 and #2 points on the bestseller list in Mexico. They are rock stars in Mexico. These people are changing the way things are done in Mexico. Their students include a governor of the Mexican state of Chiapas. I heard him speak, and he called them teachers. His teachers. I just love that. Their students include business owners, professionals, state officials, and whatever it takes, if they seem to be able to have it, to stay on course, to create, and they're on television there, to create a life that is successful at what their passion is. I just adore and revere these people. And they're down there pretty much doing it on their own because there wasn't much that our organization knew how, that's me, knew how to do to support them. Well, we're changing that. We had meetings this past week, and we're beginning to develop all of our curriculum into Spanish so that they and all the other teachers throughout Latin America will have the tools that they need. Yeah. See, they'll meet anywhere at any time to teach the science of mind. And they are just brilliant in their love. And they do love doing what they do. This is a symbol of success for me. These beloveds, who they are and what they do. There's Jack Deep, the tall guy there. Yeah. They sold a lot of books. They live in a beautiful home too. You should see it. It's amazing. So let's give the Sosas a hand. So I went down there last week, and it must be part of the Mexican culture to have to give things, because they gave me gifts in the car, they gave me gifts on the stage, they gave me gifts to bring to Barbara. They are such a giving culture. They are so generous. They're the most generous people I've ever known. And they gave me a plaque. I'm not really sure why. And it's in Spanish. So I got on my Google Translator this morning to figure out what this says. This is what it says. Institute Dr. Ernest Holmes, Reverends Alida and Jose Sosa, co-directors, recognition, Dr. John Waterhouse, and appreciation of your unconditional support. Of our work to continually expand the principles of science and mind. Monterrey, Nuevo León, Mexico, September 1, 2012. Yeah. So, this is what my idea of success is. I hope there's something in there that gives you a little nuance to work on. Don't just let this go today. There's something there for you to take into your life, to get that little bit push to be a little more successful. It's not dollars, it's not position, it's knowing who you are. And we're all learning better and better who we are. Thank you for who you are in the life of this center. Thank you for the opportunity to be loved and to love so well. For all that we do is in the mind and the heart of God. And I do love you. Thank you.